this is, with everything going on in the world, I thought, what important things should we do? We should talk about sci-fi. And
Oh, that's important.
so with sci-fi, I thought I'm going to bring up some screenshots that you may not see, but I'll explain them. And the very first, most important, I would say most important release of sci-fi this year, most anticipated, most beloved, was Picard. Okay. So let's go first, Lisa. You are a semi-Star Trek fan. Did you know Lisa puts me to sleep every night with an episode of Star Trek from one of the series?
Usually Voyager. He sleeps with sound and I sleep with quiet, so.
Actually, recently it's been Enterprise, which I really enjoyed. You watch it over and over 6 or 7 times. It's amazing.
I haven't watched it over 6 or 7. I haven't even been through it once.
Have you watched the entire seasons of Enterprise, Justin?
Yes.
And Jonathan Archer is a good captain. Did you like it?
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, see? It was good. You said you liked Deep Space Nine better.
Yeah, Deep Space Nine I think is the best Star Trek.
All right. And
That's the one I
Lisa,
haven't seen. I haven't seen that one yet.
it's the one with Odo in it.
Oh, yeah.
And the
Okay.
Ferengi and stuff.
I haven't seen it all yet.
Okay.
They
So
have a big war, like a legit war.
with the Dominion and the
Yeah,
I missed the
founders.
beginning of it. I started partway through, so I have to go back to the beginning and start from the beginning so I
I
can
re-
understand fully.
recently heard an interesting thought. Has there ever been a Borg Jemadar? Right? Because aren't they addicted to that white paste drug, right?
Oh my goodness.
So let's get back to where we started all this. And we started this with Picard. Patrick Stewart, Captain Picard.
Very good actor.
It all starts out in a lovely winery, right? And hanging out with a few Romulans. There are spoilers. So
But they're all like drinking and smoking. I thought they weren't supposed to do that. We had that conversation before.
what's that about? Seriously, like vaping was still a thing way back then. Like not once did you ever see someone smoking or vaping on the original Star Trek, right? But oddly enough, that's what Leonard Nimoy passed away from. He was a big
Oh.
smoker.
I thought they were supposed to be living in some kind of dystopia where nobody needed to smoke or worry about money or anything like that.
Yeah, money was a big part of this as well. And actually there was an Easter egg where I saw they were showing some buildings and it was like the Bank of Ferengi, right?
I could have sworn at one point in some Star Trek, I forget even what series it could have been, that they had abolished money and they were Picard, I think, referred to it as a K concept or something like that.
But then when you said Deep Space Nine, they brought in like, look at the Ferengis, always looking for latinum bars and so forth, right? And
Yeah, that's not a currency, that's a resource, a trading resource.
that would still then now be considered the currency. Anything you trade would be considered currency, no? Bartering?
Yeah, bartering, but not like a money based economy.
And that's what's so terrible about this whole Coronas thing. I know we're not supposed to mention
yeah.
it, but people have more concern with money than they do life. Isn't that hard? Okay, let me flip back over. So, Lisa, so far in what you've seen before we spoil it for you,
Go ahead. What's going on? Just get into it.
what did you think about the early episodes of Picard?
Enjoyed them.
Okay,
Didn't
and
think I would, but I did.
now that you've seen the entire season, Justin,
Yeah.
you enjoyed it? I think the last episode was the worst episode I ever saw.
Oh my
ever.
God. So you're telling me the last episode was the last episode?
No, of that season. I guess they've already renewed
okay.
it for
I was
2
gonna say it
seasons.
can't end off like that. All
It
right.
just like you said, they're vaping. Like you're watching it, it's getting good. All of a sudden they're vaping. Then they're having this episode where they're doing like the clone thing. Remember that clone movie that he played Batman, and he played in Spider-Man just recently. The Hawk guy, Keaton.
Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton. It was that clone movie he was in. You ever see it where he kept cloning himself and he got stupider and stupider? And there was a whole episode with that with the
Oh, that
holograms.
that was a really old one. I
Her
can't
trying to
remember
find the
that.
feelings. And then some really wimpy sword guy. Did you see where he went up and hugged 7 and 9 when she showed up? Like, what the hell's that? Plus they
Good Lord. You
killed
were very happy to see her.
Oh
7.
wait, wasn't that one of the kids that she raised?
No, that was at the very beginning. Remember they were pulling out that guy's eyeball? That was
Oh,
Ethan.
that was terrible.
And
The kid,
Ethan,
the young kid, yeah.
yeah, Ethan was in the group of kids that they found
And Voyager.
in Voyager, and they couldn't save the baby Borgs. But when they went to take Ethan home, they ended up bringing him back because his parents had actually genetically engineered him to take out the Borg with the virus to stop them from attacking. That's why that ship was in disarray because of his blood. Did you not know that?
I did not know that.
So in one episode of Voyager, he gave his cortical node to 7 of 9 to live because he didn't need it because he was younger and he could heal from the Borg implants. So the very first scene where we see
I keep forgetting how stupid Voyager.
no, Voyager was good. So then the first episode we see them, they're ripping out the Borg implant out of Ethan. And she had to kill him. That was this,
Yeah.
I thought that was a stupid. It could have just been a generic Borg. It didn't have to be. He was a really good Borg. He would have been a great character. And then, do you remember you in Star Trek: The Next Generation, where they found that a lone Borg and he was able to think for himself rather than in the Borg collective, and Picard had a problem going through whether or not they should virus infect him to take out the Borg or send him back. And when they sent him back, he was able to infect them with individual thought rather than cloud thought. So, do you think the Borg represents the internet? I do. Right? Because we all think alike.
Yeah, I think as soon as we get implants, we'll have instant access to the entirety of the internet, including all of human knowledge. So I don't.
What about all the dumb
far
stuff? Like it.
That neural link that Elon is inventing.
Yeah, so you'd have in your brain, and all of a sudden everybody wants you to eat a Tide Pod. They could hack your head.
Yeah, I wouldn't get one unless you had some way of either physically turning it off or unplugging it.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't do that at all.
And
There's no
also,
way.
my mom has like for.
I would get one. I totally get one. The
Really?
idea of being able to have a constant stream of new media going into my brain at all times, that's like the dream.
Oh my
Well,
God.
but that's
I love
also isn't that also the fear? And the fear is what I thought is once you get to a point where I would want to do this, you can transport your mind into an android body.
You can think of it like this. If you ever had a problem remembering some episode of something, you could just instantly watch the whole episode in the back of your mind.
Exactly. But at that point, are you actually watching an episode, or you could be part of that episode realistically in your mind? You're
Your
running a computer
perception,
program.
It would fundamentally change your perception. It's a throughput issue. The
Like-
monitors and craft keyboards, it's a throughput issue. If we had like a conscious stream of information going to our brain, we'd be able to watch TV shows instantly and books and all kinds of crap.
Okay, so you now have an implant in your brain. The internet's kind of being fed into it, the good and the bad and the ugly. On that same basis, does that mean that Lisa and I can connect and share the same experience? So she's running on the beach, I can connect in with you, and instead of actually seeing through a camera, I'm actually seeing and feeling the experiences you're going through of your body.
Yeah, you would not, like our current perception of focusing on a singular thing would go out the window. We'd be able to multitask fully and thoroughly. Really multitask.
And with everything comes the bad and the right. So everybody has their implants on in some foreign country, and the United States figures out to hack into their brain that you can basically shut everyone down. What a way for warfare. And I think because there's always the bad side of it, right? But
Scary.
It's no worse than those little drones they have now that are programmed to fly through crowds and hit people on the head and shoot them.
well, I saw those, but aren't
Oh
they?
my God.
'Cause
Terrifying.
I heard something when they want to take out like one leader, It costs like $300,000 for the drone. It costs like $20,000 every 30 minutes to run it for fuel. And it costs like $28,000 for a missile just to take one person out. So, all right, we were talking about Picard. And oddly enough, I'm just going to end it. I have to end it for Picard, that is, with the last episode.
Spoilers.
What about, okay, I love Deanna Troi, but she hasn't held up well.
It's so tropey, and like the whole great filter singularity crap I've read and seen a million times before.
Yeah, but the way they did it, like, so it wasn't Data, it was his brother or uncle or cousin or something, and they figured out at the very end that they hadn't been able to figure out how to transport your consciousness into an android body. So Picard dies, and all of a sudden the next morning he wakes up at the oh, sorry, hon. So he wakes up.
Suck.
He wakes up at the breakfast table, and this Data kind of.
Oh.
And this Data kind of guy, he goes, "Oh, well, we know you would have wanted to be in an 83-year-old body." What the hell?
What would have been would have been way more better, instead of NBC trying to cash grab, they should have just killed Picard off and had Q show up and welcome into the Q continuum. Picard went away.
The problem is this.
He went to join the Q continuum or something.
They actually killed... That would have been fun. Because actually, do you remember the episode where Picard had a heart attack? Where he has a fake heart. Remember the episode we found out he had a fake artificial heart?
Mm.
And he died, and then Q showed up in kind of quasi-heaven and took him back to find out what would have happened if he didn't have this artificial heart and didn't get stabbed by the thing that fought him when he was a young guy that made him how to get a artificial heart. And then when he...
Yeah, they should have just killed him off and sent him to the Q continuum. It would have been so much better.
But they're bringing Whoopi Goldberg back.
There's no need of any of that. It could have just been one season.
No, it's just, there was a lot of stupid shit. Like, seriously stupid stuff. And it's got a 73% rating.
It's not even Star Trek anymore.
There was hints of it. I did like, you know what? I liked Deanna Troi. She just looked a bit old to have that kid. And why would you kill you off? One of the best characters, and he was kind of wimpy, and so was his sword guy. The storyline was a bit convoluted. But overall, it's not one I'm going to watch again. I won't. This is one that, Lisa,
It's a one-time deal.
When you put my Star Trek, bedtime Star Trek on,
it will not be Picard ever.
Do not put Picard or Discovery. Have you watched all the episodes of Discovery, Justin?
Yeah.
And what do you think?
It was a lot better.
I think the very end wasn't bad. They're talking about a spin-off with Captain Pike.
Oh God.
Did you watch the Mirage, the first pilot? The Cage? When they
Yeah, I did.
That's what there was a lot of great Easter eggs. That last season brought it back for me.
Yeah, but I think they need to do something original instead of just trying to rehash old shit and trying to cash grab off the crap.
And I think that's what they're trying to do. But when you think about it, the fact that they're now so far ahead in time, like 1,000 years or so, they can like do the same stories, different aliens and stuff.
Yeah, why haven't they been doing that? Why are they rehashing old shit?
I'm hoping they do it this time around.